Greetings everyone, I'm Wood Hamster, and welcome back to the second part of the tutorial missions. Sorry if these videos are a little long. You certainly are free to skip the tutorials if you wish. But, it'll just be me here, sitting nice and relaxed, explaining things about the game. So, as you can see, we have our inventory. Let's take a little look at the UI. It's a little bit different. We also have something extra in the pouch, but I'll explain about that later when we get to it. We can combine items. We have speed combos that we can set up, which is really nice to have. We have our hunter's notes, which is the sort of guide, or not guide, but the instruction manual / you can also see what monsters how many of different monsters you've killed and how big they are and whatnot. We have our little emote section here. Sorry, I was a little slow on mentioning it. And, as we'll see in a few moments, we have some new emotes. But, for now, let's go through some of the classics. What a dorky voice. As you might also have noticed, some of the emotes are called something slightly different. And, here's one of the new ones, Kickback. Just lying back down and sitting down. The next new one is Taunt. Not sure what to make of this. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. And then he's lying on the floor. Then we have Flaunt. And one of my personal favorites, Prance. Jazz Hands. And we got the good old dance. But enough of that. We can also check our quests, but we don't have any quests. We can also look at our status and our current equipment. Our rewards are kind of like achievements. And we got more options to mess around with if we want to. But enough of that. I think we've had enough of our room. We should probably get to looking after some armor. Now, I didn't show this lady off just yet in the previous video. I figured it would be a good idea to do it now. This lady here is the outfitter, as she is promptly called. Basically, she will sell you raw weapons and armor for sale. Like, you don't need components, you just need money. She doesn't craft, she just has some of the stock that you buy. It's never anything really good, but if you need a base weapon to upgrade, and you don't exactly want to, make new stuff from scratch and up several upgrade lines, it's easier and cheaper just to buy some of the things from her. And there she is making up excuses for her daydreaming. I don't buy it. But I will buy her leather armor. Leather armor is pretty much the best starting armor you can get because it will give you a nice list of skills that will help you out in the beginning. The chainmail, it's more of a combat set, but, I'll be showing that off later. For now, let's take a look at this leather armor set. As you can see, we have our chest here that we can go up to. And it has various options. We can store items in it, we can remove items from it, or we can combine directly from the chest. For now, we will store things. As you can see, we also have a gunner's pouch where we place our ammo, which is really nice to have in this game. We can also do something new. We can sell items directly from our box, which you couldn't do before. This means I don't have to go to my box, pick items, go to the vendor, and just go back and forth. We can also equip items from here. We get to start with a sword and shield or a great sword. Everything else we have to buy ourselves or make. We can also change our clothing type right here. If we get bored of the different underwear, then we can always change it at will, which is really nice. We can also change the colors at will of our underwear. Let's go back for a turquoise. Why not? We can also change our hairstyle and the color of the hair, but we're not going to mess with that. And we can register equipment sets, so we can quickly switch between equipment sets as we want for, well, regular equipment and bowgun sets. Bowgun sets require, of course, ranged armor and ranged weapons. But we got none of that for now, so let's take a look at what this armor exactly does. Now, you'll notice there's a little thing called the B on the bottom, pointer. Well, I can use my Wiimote to scroll over a skill and take a look at what it does. This is something that is very nice for new players, as before in Monster Hunter games, you kind of just had to guess what a thing did or look up a FAQ. But now I can see exactly what they do without having to look anything online, so it's really nice. As you can, I'm just going to quickly show off some of the controls that you can do. That's I'm always fairly happy with the standard setup that they give you. Other people prefer to change things a little bit more, but most of those options are just, you know, to change things for the Wiimote. But since I'm using a classic controller pro thing, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the controls there. I'll take a quick look at the Hunter's Notes. I do not have any monster data yet. And they do right off the bat give you some combos that you don't even need to learn, that you just have. Some very basic items that's very handy to have. And as you can see, this is basically the instruction manual, just in, well, in game form. Very handy. So what say you that we go into that sweet, sweet loading screen and head out into the open wild and, well, get the tutorial started. It's about time that we do this. And all during the tutorial, we'll occasionally get the villagers popping up and talking to us. Now, the tutorial is longer than what I'm going to show here, but I'm just going to show the starting part of the tutorial, and I'll tell you why later. And over here, just because I forgot that the tutorial actually showed you that you could pick up torches, I got one early and just kind of showing it off. You can swing it around, you can take it out, yeah, and this is good to light the dark caverns with. Of course, when you exit a mission, or go back into town, you lose your torches, so, you know, they're just a temporary item you pick up. Oh, forest and hills, intro sting, how I've missed you. Well, not really. And as you see, they will be explaining about stamina. This game actually does a good job at explaining things. And I apologize ahead of time before the jokes are made. The game does like making innuendo jokes with your stamina bar. Gonna get a nice look around. Yeah, got some nice surroundings. This game is very pretty. I mean, you have to also remember this is a Wii game as well, so they did a pretty good job of making the game look very nice. Now, let's just run around in circles for a little bit. Let's take a look at that stamina bar. The yellow bar is your stamina bar, and it keeps going lower and lower as you're running. And when it goes to red, you should let go of it, but if you don't let go of it, this is what happens. You start running around very slowly, and you will be basically prone for a few moments while you catch your breath. This is not the most handy of positions to be in. Alright. Yeah. So here they're teaching us that these creatures are apnas, and they can give us meat. If I am thumbing through the text a little too fast, you may pause it at your leisure. I just thought I'd let you know. So here they're going to teach us some basic combat on, well, I yeah, fairly much. These are helpless critters. They're herbivores, and they won't really do too much. And now that they've taught us about our green health bar, that, you know, we've got to be careful about that, but these shouldn't be any problem. Teaching us basic combat. Now they'll teach us about carving. So, carving is basically just gathering items off of monsters. Or, well, I guess just teaching you how to gather items in general. You just have to wait for the death throes of the beast to finish, and then you can gather. Delicious raw meat. Well, let's get a nice look at this area. Yeah. It's a little like a little valley of sorts. But for now, let's head to where Sunny Boy is. I'll be taking my time just getting a look at each of the areas. Since we're doing the tutorial, we might as well enjoy the sights. And as you can see, this camp has seen better days. Large rocks having fallen all over the place. Though I'd like to know why the tent of the camp is so tattered. It's not like a giant rock fell in the middle of it. Or maybe they did and Sunny's just Hulk and removed it. Or he rolled it over to the docks over there. Who knows? But the camp's not looking too hot. So, let's talk to Sunny here. The man with the assless chaps. Or Junior, as he is not proud of being called. And they mentioned that they will be needing to fix this up. This is sort of part of the story that will be ongoing. It's nothing too, it's nothing too complicated. It's a very simple, basic story. But, it's appreciated that they put a little story into things. And, so, this is why we were asked to get raw meat, because he needs food. Wizard needs food, badly. And with that, they're actually going to teach us a new trick or two. They've mentioned barbecuing, and, well, he mentions he should probably cook this, so maybe barbecuing will be part of a game mechanic, yeah. Yeah. I could go for some barbecued steak right now. What about you? Alright, yeah. Well, I thought that was a pretty good job. Yeah, a job well done. Now, in theory, we should head back to the gate, but you know what? We have one last area to look at. For now, the map looks very small, but as we go through the tutorial, it'll gradually open up more and more. So, don't be too worried about that. For now, let's take in the sights. Look at the waves come crashing in on the island. Yeah. Yeah, this looks fairly nice. I enjoy the sights in this game. It's a very pretty game. I do like what they were able to do with the Wii. Like, there are some games that has come out for the Wii that are very pretty, and I can appreciate them. Like, they're still stylized. not heavily stylized, but stylized enough to the point where they're pretty. And we're just gonna kick that app off and leave. Yeah. As you can see, the areas have been blocked off by huge rocks. These are the areas that'll be opened up to us gradually. And I believe that canopy on the top was actually taken, it is a remastered texture from Forest and Hills. Not entirely sure, it looks like the same. Those who don't know what Forest and Hills is, it was an area in the previous games. But for now, we should go back to the village. And as they're showing, we can go back to the village just by going up and pressing A. Excellent. But you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to take the back entrance. See, there are 2 entrances and 2 exits from the city and to the city. One entrance is found at the farm, and one entrance is found, well, I guess, towards the town or city, you know, village. I don't quite think it's a city. Don't think it's big enough for that. And you might have noticed something different. When you spend enough time out in the open, the day changes to night and night changes to day. As you go out on missions, the time of day will also change. This will be important for certain things. Certain things will take a certain amount of time to pass by. So there are several ways to pass time. If you go out into the open world hunting, as it's called, it's not quite that open world, but if you go out there, wait a minute or 2, and then come back into town, you'll pass some time. If you go on a mission, you can get time to pass, and there's also one more method we'll get to. But for now, he's mentioning that we need to fix the camp up, and we will be needing some serious resources, which is where we will be getting into the new mechanics of the game series. In the previous games, we had farm points which were gotten through account items or selling items to a vendor. In this game, we have resource points. Resource points are gotten from account point items. There's not too many of them in this game, though. And mainly, they're gotten from the open world hunting, as I mentioned before. For now, he's giving us a barbecue spit. Yeah. And he also mentions we should go talk to his father. So, before we do that, let's take a look at this. We can look at the Moga forecast, which we will look at a bit later. I'll explain it then. We can look at a hunt report. I will go into more details about it later. But for now, suffice it to say that it is a hunt report. We can report the things we've hunted and get some, as you might have noticed, some points for it there. But, you know, I'll go into the details with it. And here we can see what everything's worth that we've been able to find or that we haven't found yet. We can also trade in items to get points. And he needs 30 points to, you know, start fixing up the camp. So 30 points shouldn't be too hard. I mean, Apnoth gave 1 point, so yeah. And as we already saw, like, we could get some fish for quite a few points. But for now, let's do what he suggested. Talk to the chief. As he mentions, I just need to help supply the village with resources, and the village will help me. So it's teamwork. I love teamwork, don't you? The final goal is to take out the Geocris. Well, certainly I will work towards that. Shouldn't be too hard, should it? And here he mentions that there are healing items that we can pick up, herbs. So we'll have to remember that when we go out to the field. For now, the lady here will tell us that she has a couple more things for sale. We can now buy barbecue spits from her. Of course, we've already got one, so we don't really need to buy more. But in case we somehow lose our barbecue spit, we can always come back and get more. And you don't actually have to visit her every day. Just whenever you need something or checking to see if she's got something new in stock. Usually she'll have a chat bubble over her head when she does have new things for sale. Oh, pun lady. I don't like you. And as you can see, the guild counter lady is behind the guild counter. But, as she mentions, we can't take missions without a camp, so we're kind of boned, unfortunately. Anything living up in the moon and giant airships. This is already starting to sound like a Final Fantasy game. That sort of talk. I wonder if it was a direct reference to just general Final Fantasy games. And here they're mentioning, you know, a little about the farm. Unless they have anything important to say, they will give us just general tips of the game and just come with a few puns here and there, that sort of thing. The Wyvernian artist, or the blacksmith, has something new to tell us, so, you know, that's nice. He'll tell us a bit more about making equipment. As he mentions, for him to make equipment for us, or to upgrade equipment, we will need items. If we need more information, well, then we have our hunter's guide, he mentions, which is nice. Well, I will quickly show this off. We can make decorations, which is gems we can add to our equipment to enhance skills, or add new skills. We can make new items. As you can see, there is some different stats here and there. There's some comparison windows. We got quite a few options we can look at. We can get a preview of how it looks. Skills, if it's an armor, we can look at the skills that we'd be getting or swapping out for. We can upgrade existing items, as you can see. We require some items here, but we can get a better version of our item, and we can upgrade it into new types of items. We can also do the same for armor. But for now, I think we're good. Just quickly showing that off. And he mentions that there's something behind the waterfall. Fortunately, I kind of already showed that off, so I already knew about it. It is a little obvious that there is something behind the waterfall, I must admit. For now, I think I should show off another way to get time to pass. You can sleep in your bed just to get time to pass, but I believe you can only do this during nighttime. So the best and most efficient way to get time to pass is during the daytime, stand outside for a couple minutes, go back into town, sleep, and repeat. Not too tough. But that'll be it for now. Laters.